Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Eckert, and I am here to present my final paper for the 602 class. The title of my paper is Interconnectedness and Linked Data Between Databases Analyzing Information Retrieval Tools. I was inspired to write about this because, like many people, I'm constantly using my phone and computer to find a wide range of information. And I noticed that I was basically using the same two apps quite frequently: Google and Apple Maps. I was fascinated by the impact that they were having on me. The aim of this paper is to analyze the rise of interconnected databases and how information retrieval has changed. Our reliance on the internet for information is at an all time high, and interconnected databases like Google, Apple Maps, even Wikipedia, which I don't mention in the paper, are all major consumptions of data and information. In this paper, I will highlight what interconnectedness and linked data is, early information retrieval tools, and spend time analyzing two current platforms that rely on interconnected databases. Interconnected databases are entities, usually organizations, but maybe people, that pull information from various databases to help inform them of something. A great example is the ordering pizza in the future video we all watched, where a man calls a pizza place and he just wants a pizza, but they have access to his work history, financial records, medical records, and more. These are all examples of different databases. Companies like Google and Apple constantly pull information from these databases, and these companies rely on linked data to do this. Linked data is the sharing of data between individuals or organizations. An example would be for the United States Congress to be posting a politician's voting history on the internet for anyone to see. That is information that they are sharing. Life did exist, surprisingly, before the internet and smartphones. So long ago, you had to use a yellow pages to find somebody's address and phone number. You used an atlas to help give you routes to a location and directions, and you used a newspaper to help you find the time of your favorite show, the time of something to watch later. And the introduction of the search engines in the late 90s and their rise to popularity in early 2000s really started to change how we retrieved information. Search engines would deploy programs to find websites whose information matched what you were searching. These became very popular, and many different search engines were created. And this sort of began a race to the top to become the biggest and the most used search engine. A surprising fact that I learned was that in the early 2000s, only about 25% of the internet was considered accessible by search engines. So, next, I want to look at two popular examples of platforms that rely on interconnected databases. They'll use linked data, again, that shared information, to get things from a multitude of databases. So, first, I looked at Google, and here you could see all the different types of information you can find: links to websites, images, news stories. Next, I looked at Apple Maps, and here you can see the types of information that you can find on Apple Maps, such as a map of your area immediately brought to you, suggestions of frequently visited places, guides that are kind of connected to your interests. But a lot of it is similar: addresses, phone numbers, ratings, and reviews. It really is remarkable how much you can find from one resource. So these next few slides will contain screenshots from Google and Apple Maps searches. First, I will compare search results for Farmingdale Multiplex, which is a movie theater that is nearby me. I didn't include this part of my paper, but the next few slides that will show a new search result I did include in my paper. So here is a Farmingdale Multiplex search result on Google, and you can see all the types of information you can find, such as locations and phone numbers, reviews, links to websites, hours of operation, popular times to go, and more. That is Farmingdale Multiplex on Google. And then I searched up Farmingdale Multiplex on Apple Maps. And again, you can see a lot of the same information. You see a phone number, you can see location, hours of operation, you could see ratings and reviews, links to a website, and more. So even though they're two separate platforms, Google and Apple Maps rely on a lot of the same interconnected databases to help their users. And so these next few slides are going to do the same thing, compare results for Citi Field, which is the home of the New York Mets. This was included in my paper. So this is Citi Field for the New York Mets. Again, you get links to websites, images, you get a short little like Wikipedia description in the bottom right, an address, reviews and ratings. They even linked their Instagram and their Twitter page. So that's Google for Citi Field. Now here is Citi Field on Apple Maps. Again, you can see uh, phone number, links to websites. This one is actually gives you a link to buy tickets. So Apple Maps is actually connected to the MLB ticket office and let you get tickets that way. Um, so it's very interesting to see how these two platforms will often rely on sort of the same interconnected databases. And it really kind of proves that interconnected databases are like your one-stop shop for any information that you need. So interconnected databases have been skyrocketing over the past 20 years and have been a driving force in the internet's ability to share information all over the world. These mega companies have created platforms that make information retrieval so accessible, but their mining of people's personal data has caused alarm and concerns. So we must be reminded that the internet can be a gray area, and we always have to be aware of what is happening. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you all very much for listening.